Hi, friends. I'm Emily Lay, and you're listening to the Simplified podcast. If you're looking for a soft place to land as you try and filter out the noise and hustle of it all, this is it. You're in the right place. Every week, I invite you to slow down, take a breath, and join me to explore practical ways to organize and automate the complicated parts of life so you can focus on what truly matters most. Well, our annual Black Friday sale is coming up at Simplified. It is our biggest sale of the entire year. Check out everything at emilylay.com. I wanted to start today's conversation with a question. Have you ever gotten the call? You know what I mean, the call, the one you received out of the blue on a perfectly normal Tuesday morning when all of a sudden your life is torn into a before and an after that didn't exist when you woke up that morning. You might be there right now. If you aren't, I bet you probably know someone who's in their after right now. That's the nature of the world we're in at the moment. So many people have been forced to separate their lives into before and after. They've been forced to shutter the business they built for 10, 15, 20 years. They've been forced to dissolve the marriage they've built for 10, 15, 20 years. Their beautiful child was diagnosed with cancer. Their loved one fell victim to COVID-19. It's overwhelming to think about so many people suffering all at once. And it's devastating when this kind of life-altering loss happens to someone you care for. I am an Enneagram 2, so I am a helper by nature. I'm someone who likes to take action and tackle a problem as soon as it comes up. It's who I am. But you can't get rid of someone's grief in a prescribed step 1, 2, 3 kind of way. You can't heal someone's broken marriage. You can't cure a child's cancer on your own. When all you want to do is help, you can feel powerless when you realize that you can't fix your friend's situation. And I know that is hard, and I'm sorry. If you find yourself in this situation right now, I'm here to tell you that you can do a few things for that person. You can acknowledge the painful truth that your friend is going through something that is shattering the world she knows. You can remember day after day that she is not the same person she was. You may not understand everything that's going on in her heart. You may not understand everything that comes out of her mouth, but you may know what it feels like to hurt so deeply you can't understand how you will live the same way again. And you put yourself in her shoes and imagine what her days looked like in her before and what must run through her mind as she wakes up in her after. She knows what it's like to have someone or something so precious, and she knows what it feels like to lose it. And here's the big thing you can do. You can show up for her. You can choose to hold space for your hurting friend. You can give her room to breathe, to cry, to rage. You look at her home, her work, her children to see if there's anything you can do to fill in the gaps. Food, cleaning, transportation, entertaining another child. Is there anything you can do for her that would help? Talking, venting, praying. Does she need any of that? This is a season of giving thanks, but more than anything, I think it's a season of remembering. We remember each other. We remember the kindness given to us today and in years past. We remember the times we've felt lonely and scared and sad, when someone has reached out to us to comfort us in our moments of need. Even if they don't know what to say or didn't know what to do, you remember the person who reached out and said, "I'm so sorry." We remember the people who said, "How can I help?" Sometimes they say it together. Sometimes they don't say anything at all and they don't need to. But sometimes a hug says it better than anything. It's hard to know what to say or do when someone you know is going through something, whether you're close to her or you're just a friendly acquaintance. It's hard because it's a little too easy to see yourself in the same place. After all, no matter how tightly we hang on to our people, our titles, our identity, we're all going to let go of it all someday. We'll all experience loss and the grief that comes with it. I think that's why it's so painful to see someone else go through loss. You can easily imagine how it feels. I was talking to my friend Dean Crowe about this recently, about how on earth we show up and hold space for people who are going through some of the hardest moments in their lives. And I wanted to bring Dean here to talk about it because A, she's really good at thinking through this kind of stuff, and B, because she's found herself in this position before. Dean is the co-founder and CEO of the Rally Foundation for Childhood Cancer Research. The work that Dean and Rally do is so vital because here's something Dean taught me that I never knew. 46 children, 46, are diagnosed with cancer every school day. And the Rally Foundation is on a mission to change that. Dean spends her days mobilizing a nationwide group of volunteers, of families and friends who want to do something to help in the fight against childhood cancer. I love Dean and the work she puts out into the world so much, in fact, that I joined the advisory board of the Rally Foundation this year. Dean has been through it, and she channels her infectious energy into doing what she can to help others. I think you're going to be incredibly moved by her story and have a renewed focus around looking for the people who need your help and doing what you can with what you have to help them where they are. Here is my conversation with Dean Crowe of the Rally Foundation. Dean, hi. Thank you so much for being here and for doing this with me. I think that this is such an important conversation to have, and I'm really looking forward to asking you some hard questions and also for more people to get to know about the good work that Rally does. So let's just dive in. Tell me a little bit about William. I know that he is the one who inspired you to start the Rally Foundation. Can you tell me a little bit about his story and how you got to know him?
So actually, my husband was friends with William. He played on a travel baseball team with our oldest son when they were 12, and Reed was one of the assistant coaches, and William was one of the pitchers. And they just kind of hit it off in the dugout. Toward the end of that school year, the next year, William was diagnosed with a brain tumor. Now, William and Jonathan's our son, they went to different high schools and different schools. I was teaching a Bible study, and some of the baseball moms were in that Bible study, had joined it. And one of them came up and said that William had been diagnosed with a brain tumor. William had brain surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, all that lasted about 18 months, and then finished treatment and got a clean bill of health.
Wow.
But 18 months later, he relapsed. I remember looking at Nancy and saying, tell me what to do to help you, and I will not make you dinner. We are past dinner. And she looked at my husband and he said, tell her what to do or she'll drive me crazy. And she said, raise money for childhood cancer research. And I said, not to be offensive, but billions of dollars in this country is spent on cancer research. And she said, not for kids. Every family needs help and they need hope in this hospital. And I said, okay, so you want me to raise money for all kinds of childhood cancer and for this hospital, right? And she said, no, I want you to fund the best research that you can find. And I don't care where it is. So that was about 15 years ago. And to date, we've raised and supported $22 million in childhood cancer research. We've seen our research go from science at the bench, where it was just an idea, all the way to clinical trial, which is very excited, to drugs that are now kids are getting and able to access. We found out that less than 4% at one time of the government federal funding was going to childhood cancer.
Less than 4%.
Yes.
When I heard that statistic, that makes no sense. It makes no sense.
No. So, all of it started with a question, what can I do to help? And really, Emily, you just having me on here means so much because you're answering that question too. You're saying, what can I do to help? Because, these kids are, dying and fighting so hard. And these poor moms, what they are under is just...
I can't even fathom. And I have to give a little bit of a backstory, and I don't even know, you and I have talked multiple times, and I don't know if I've even shared all of this with you, but I discovered Rally through Carolyn, a little girl here in Pensacola, who I followed. I didn't know her family, but I followed her story with cancer, and she's doing well. I followed her story, and that's how I discovered Rally. And then I had a friend, Jane. Jane invited me to get involved, and I said to Jane, I want to help, but I can't get too close because it is my biggest fear in life. I could cry saying it because it's so hard to wrap my brain around. Something happening to one of your children, it's absolutely gut wrenching. And my background is in fundraising. And when I moved to Tampa, I actually, Brian and I were engaged and I was looking for a job down there The reason I moved to Tampa at the time that I did is because I accepted a job as the national marketing director for the Pediatric Cancer Foundation. I remember just every single day feeling like the weight of
the world.
Just like, it's just not fair. And that's why I love that you kind of led with that story, because we have to use those feelings to fuel action.
Yes.
And
yes.
So I just think it's what Rally is doing is so important and amazing. One of the most important things you can do this time of year is making sure you're nourishing your body. For me, that means making time to work out, making sure my water bottle stays filled, and taking my supplements from Array. Array supplements are the real deal, friends. They work super fast. We're talking under an hour here. Plus, they're organic, filler-free, and formulated by a naturopathic doctor. I'm a little bit prone to anxiety because, hello, I'm a recovering perfectionist. And I love the Calm capsules because within an hour of taking these, I can tell a huge difference in my anxiety levels. I'm way less stressed. And the Calm capsules are non-drowsy, so they're not going to put you to sleep. You can take them anytime you need for a bit more calm in your day. Array also makes the bloat capsules, which help your body optimize digestion, no matter if you're eating a salad or grabbing an extra helping of holiday dessert. They're great to keep in your purse this time of year. I speak from experience. You deserve to feel your best, so you can be your best. Go to array.com and use code SIMPLIFIED at checkout for 10% off your one-time purchase or 25% off your first month's subscription. What a deal. That's array.com, that's ARRAE.com, and enter code SIMPLIFIED for 10% off your one-time purchase or 25% off your first month's subscription. I don't know about you, but I love a good round of Secret Santa. Whether it's your family or your coworkers or even your book club, you'll love using Elfster to coordinate all the Secret Santa fun. Elfster is the #1 Secret Santa app in the world, and you can create a free gift exchange to make gift giving even easier. Just set the date and budget for your exchange, and Elfster takes care of the rest. They even draw the names so you don't have to. We have used Elfster on Team Simplified, and we love it. It makes our gift exchanges so easy and so fun. Each person can make a wish list with brands they love from retailers like Amazon, Etsy, Nordstrom, and Sephora, so everybody gets exactly what they want. It's just a win all the way around. And Elfster isn't just great at coordinating your Secret Santa, you can even make your wish list to share with family and friends who are shopping for you all year round. Elfster is trusted by more than 17 million people, including me. So go ahead and set up some Secret Santa fun this holiday season. Go to elfster.com or download the Elfster app today. Like, I know that there are so many people listening right now who maybe have a friend who's going through something. Maybe their family is going through something. We last year had 2 little boys at our school who had Wilms tumor. Mm-hmm. And, we tried to love on their families as they were going through that. But it's so hard, like, knowing what to do when someone is going through something life-shattering, if you've not been there yourself. So starting a foundation, which is what you did, is a huge feat.
Which was crazy and a God thing, not something I set out to do. So just know that.
But amazing, like this huge thing that you guys have done started with a question. So I'm wondering, how do you think that we can help our friends who are going through, maybe it's not a child with going through cancer, maybe it's just something else they're going through, but whatever it is, what is your advice in terms of how we can help our friends and love on them with what we have right where we are?
I think, and that is a great question and a really important question. And of course, the #1 thing we always say is to make sure a family is, prayed for, that their bills are paid and that their other kids are taken care of or their kids are taken care of, because it could be someone who's having to, take care of an elderly parent or, there's all kinds of things what the situation could be, so first, and also, if you're praying for your friend, also pray for their whole family and then pray for their marriage. When you're in these really difficult situations, it's really hard, on the marriage. If it's a kid that is sick, really think some about the siblings, because that child that is sick is going to get a lot of attention and well-deserved attention, but also a lot of times the siblings feel left out. And so if you're a mom and you can go and grab the siblings and do something fun with them, or just, help out that way, that is so important. And as a mom, you're so worried about your child that's sick, but you're also so worried about your other kids. So that's a really practical way that friends can step in and, do something, with the other kid, even just have them over for a play date, or, invite them to go out to dinner, or just come over for dinner, just something to give the kid, that other sibling, something, to do and think about. Totally. I would say literally just go mow their lawn.
Yeah.
Don't ask. Just show up and don't ask. Just show up and go mow their lawn. And you just can't imagine what that will take off of them, because it's one of those things you're just trying to get to that. And it just keeps falling further and further down. So if someone just takes care of that for you, it is huge.
Without asking, I think is such a key point.
Don't ask,
just do it.
Show up and do it.
Yeah.
Another thing is ask her to join you for your girls' night out, and ask her for years to come. And I would say probably, 90 to 95% of the time, she's going to say no, but she's at least going to know that you're thinking about her and you asked. Yeah. I always say everyone loves to be asked. Yep. Even if you have to say no, you love to be invited to the party, or to be invited to
feel included.
Included. Mm-hmm. Yes. And if you're the person who would want to organize a meal train, do that, organize that meal train for them. And then I would say, if you're a person who would, want to do their caring bridge, or set up a Facebook, group for them, and offer to be the one to update it. I think those are so helpful and practical, because then the parents aren't having to tell the same story over and over and over.
And being bombarded with questions and all that.
It's the same answers, so it saves a lot of time. But at first you could be so overwhelmed to think, I don't have time to update this. I don't have time to do this, because I'm just trying to keep my kid alive, or deal with this crisis. So I would just say that's a really practical way. So obviously I think doing something very practical is very key. And then if there's a whole bunch of other people wanting to do something to help the family, get that person who would want to organize a fun run or a fundraiser or whatever the family needs. And, just take it off and, do those things that will be practical, and just show up. A lot of times and we don't know what to say sometimes, and that's okay. Yeah. That is totally okay.
I love that you said that, because I feel like sometimes we think, in order to properly love on someone going through something hard, we have to have the perfect words, make sure you show up at the right time with the meal, that, all the things. But I had surgery a while back, and I was on the receiving end of a meal train that I would have otherwise been like, guys, I'm fine. I'm good. We got this. I'm the ultimate planner, organizer. I will have 15 freezer meals done. And they were like, we don't care. We're showing up. Yeah. And I had one friend, Cindy Bonner, who showed up, and Cindy works for Rally, for everyone listening. Yes. Cindy showed up. She was like, meal train was full, so I brought you breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. And how much did that mean to you?
So much, because a big Saturday breakfast is something that we love to do. I just couldn't. And she was like, here's all the things, it's already made, it's warm, it's on your kitchen counter. I handed it to your husband.
Done.
She just is, and I love that. I had a friend who went through a divorce a couple years ago, and I remember being like, I don't know what to say. I don't know. Some days she would feel like it was a good thing, and some days she was devastated, and I didn't know where to show up. And so I just started being like, I'm coming over, and we're going to watch TV, and I'm going to bring a bottle of wine, and it's going to be great. Yes. And she would be like, but my house isn't clean, and my hair's not, and I was like, I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. And it's the practical. I think that there's a lot of power in just others who are going through it, seeing us support and come alongside them to say, I'm here. I don't always have the right thing to say or know exactly what to do, but I'm here, and I'm showing up for you.
And that is so important. So just show up.
I love that.
Just being willing to listen.
Yeah.
And not necessarily have a solution, but just to listen and ask maybe a leading question and let them be able to process, I think is really such a valuable tool. I think as women, we naturally, want to take a little present or bring flowers, which all that is great. And, I love that. And I think it's important, but I also think there's times where we just need to be there.
I love that. Just
them.
be the presence in the room even. Tell everybody listening how they can learn more about Rally, how they can get involved, and how they too can help.
Well, you can go to our website, rallyfoundation.org, and there we have a little get involved button. And so it has lots of different ways that you can get involved and support Rally and support kids fighting cancers and family, going through what they're going through. And you can do anything from something very simple to, you can blow it out. And we will be here to help you do that and empower you.
Giving Tuesday is coming up, and I will tell you that we are going to mobilize our sisterhood in a big way. We have a big goal to help Rally. So stay tuned. We will share all the details of that. But Dean, thank you so much for being here. I just appreciate your insight and all the good work that you're doing.
Thank you, Emily.
Wow. I am so glad that we had that conversation. And here's what I took away from my conversation with Dean today. It is so important, no matter what we are going through, no matter how scared we are to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing or show up at the wrong time, it is so important to just show up, to just reach out, even if we don't have the right words, to a friend who's hurting and say, hey, I'm here. I don't know what to say. I just want you to know I'm here for you and I'm here for anything you need. And it's also so important to just show up for a hug or hop over to a friend's house and clean her kitchen or bring a meal, even if you don't know if it's the right time or if they already have something planned. I think it's so important just for our loved ones to know that they are loved, especially during their times of hurting. As we close out this episode, I would like to say a blessing for you as we leave this time together and get back into our days. When you don't know what to say, I hope you remember you can always say, I love you. When you don't know what to do, I hope you remember you can always offer a hand to help, an ear to listen, or a shoulder to cry on. Above all, I hope you have a friend in your life who cares for you the way you so lovingly care for others. As always, I like to leave a little tip to help you put what we've talked about today into practice. Here's your task for this week. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming to know how to help someone who's going through a loss we've never experienced ourselves. But you know what? You can always offer up a prayer on their behalf. I know sometimes it can feel trite, but I truly believe in the power of prayer. Because not only does prayer change our circumstances, it also changes us. Praying for people who are hurting helps us stay close to them emotionally and attuned to what kind of help they might need. So even if you don't know where to start, say a little prayer for your friend. You may be surprised by how much it helps in the long run. Thank you for listening to the Simplified podcast. I hope today's episode helps you hold space for your friends in the days to come. They are lucky to have such a caring friend like you. You can find show notes for this episode at emilylay.com/podcast, where you can check out links and resources I mentioned here, and you can shop the Simplified brand of planners and products. Plus, for more simplicity tips, you can find me on Instagram at emilylay and at Simplified. And if you want to learn more about how you can get involved in the great work Rally Foundation is doing for childhood cancer research, visit their website at rallyfoundation.org. If you're loving this show, then I bet you might like my latest book called Growing Boldly, Dare to Build a Life You Love, which is in stores right now wherever you buy books. And I have one small favor to ask. If you enjoy this show as much as I do, would you hop over to your podcast provider and leave a review? It's a small thing that shows this podcast to more people who may enjoy it. I really appreciate your help. And until next time, thank you so much for listening. Bye.